So, you've made the huge investment in GPU hardware. The racks are full. But is every single one of those expensive cycles actually working for you? In this explainer, we're diving into the nitty-gritty of GPU resource allocation and capacity planning. Basically, how to turn that powerful hardware from just a sunk cost into a strategic asset that's finely tuned for your business.
All right, before we jump in, just a quick but really important heads up. This is Module 11 of a much larger tutorial on GPU virtualization. Everything here is based on a report by Virtualization Options LLC, and it's for general info only. It's definitely not legal, financial, or specific technical advice. We always recommend you chat with your own professional team before taking any action. Oh, and also, keep in mind that licensing can get super complex, and we're going to cover that in depth in Module 14.
Okay, so the hardware's in the rack, it's powered on, and all the little lights are blinking. Fantastic! But honestly, the real work is just getting started. See, just having a bunch of GPUs isn't enough. If you don't have a solid strategy, you're just looking at wasted money, frustrated users, and performance bottlenecks that can stop critical projects dead in their tracks. So how do we go from just owning the hardware to truly mastering it?
Well, it all boils down to a balancing act. Every single decision you make about how to allocate these GPU resources is a trade-off. You're constantly juggling the need to get the most bang for your buck against user demands for performance and, of course, the operational need to stay flexible. It's a tricky equation for sure, and getting it right is the absolute key to success. Think about it. On one side, you've got this immense pressure to maximize utilization, to squeeze every last drop of value from that expensive hardware. But on the other side, you have to promise solid performance to your users. You need to keep their workloads separate and secure, and you have to leave room for maintenance and upgrades. All of that while trying to keep the total cost of ownership down. You can see how each of these things pulls in a slightly different direction.
So how in the world do we manage this juggling act? Well, the source material gives us several key strategies. I like to think of these as the essential tools in your toolkit for taming all those wild GPU resources. Let's open up the toolbox and see what we've got.
First step is tiered allocation, and this is just smart common sense management. Your absolutely mission-critical production workloads, the ones that need rock-solid performance guarantees, they get the top-tier dedicated resources, no question. But maybe your development teams can work just fine with shared resources, and those experimental what-if projects, they can run on whatever capacity is left over. It's all about matching the right resource to the right need.
Next, we have this fundamental choice between static and dynamic allocation. With static, you're basically assigning fixed resources. It's predictable, it's simple, and performance is steady. The big downside? When that workload is idle, your GPU's just sitting there burning cash. Dynamic allocation, on the other hand, is way more efficient. It adjusts resources on the fly based on demand, which is awesome for utilization. The trade-off is that it adds complexity and performance can be a bit more variable. The right choice really depends on what your workload looks like.
Now for a tool that's really powerful, but you gotta be careful with it. Oversubscription. The whole idea here is that you're playing the odds. You allocate more virtual GPU resources than you physically have, betting that it's super unlikely everyone will need peak performance at the exact same time. This can seriously boost your efficiency. But, and this is a big but, the source material gives a key warning. For production stuff, you want to be conservative, stick to a 1.2 to 1.5 times oversubscription ratio. Any more, and you risk creating major problems when you do get that unexpected usage spike.
Okay, so having the right tools is one thing, but knowing how to use them together is the real magic. And that's where a formal capacity plan comes in. The source lays out a super clear 5-step blueprint to get you from just guessing to making data-driven decisions. This is your roadmap to getting GPU capacity right.
And here's the whole process at a glance. You start by figuring out where you are today, you forecast where you need to be tomorrow, you design the solution, you test the heck out of it, and then you monitor it constantly. It's a logical flow that's designed to take all the risk and uncertainty out of the picture. Step 1 is all about the data. You simply can't plan for the future if you don't have a crystal clear picture of the present. This means you measure everything. What's your average GPU utilization? When are your peaks? Who are your power users? This data becomes the foundation for your entire plan. Without it, you're just flying blind. Next, it's time to look ahead. Step 2 is where you translate the company's business strategy into actual technical requirements. Is a new AI-powered app about to launch? Is the R&D team about to double in size? These aren't just business plans. They directly translate into future GPU demand, and your forecast has to capture all of that.
All right, with your baseline data in one hand and your forecast in the other, you can finally start making some real decisions. Step 3 is where the rubber meets the road. What GPU models are you going to use? Are you going to do pass-through or virtual GPUs? This is where all your analysis turns into a concrete, technical design.
Now, before you go and spend a single dollar on a full rollout, you have to validate your design. Step 4 is, and I can't stress this enough, absolutely critical, you have to test your proposed architecture with real-world workloads. Does it actually deliver the performance you thought it would? This is the step that catches those expensive mistakes before they can impact your users.
And finally, you have to understand that capacity planning is never really done. Step 5 is all about creating a feedback loop. You're constantly monitoring your actual usage and comparing it to what you planned for. Were your forecasts accurate? Are new usage patterns popping up? This turns planning from a one-time project into a living, breathing process that adapts to the real world.
To help guide you through that planning process, the source gives us a few key numbers. These are fantastic rules of thumb to keep in the back of your mind as you're designing and managing your GPU infrastructure.
The first number to burn into your brain is 60%. This should be your target for average GPU utilization. Now, you might be thinking, wait, why not 100%? Well, because running at full throttle all the time leaves you zero room to breathe. 60% is that sweet spot that gives you high efficiency, but still leaves enough headroom to handle those unexpected bursts without grinding everything to a halt.
The second key number is 30%. You should always try to maintain about 30% of your capacity as headroom across the whole cluster. Think of this as your safety net. It's the buffer that lets you handle peak usage, absorb a hardware failure, or take a server down for maintenance, all without your users ever even noticing there was a problem.
And the final number for today is 25%. The source points to this as a pretty typical year-over-year growth projection for GPU demand. Whether it's more users, bigger AI models, or new apps, the demand for GPU power is pretty much always going up, and planning for about 25% annual growth is a solid baseline for your long-term strategy.
So after all of that, why do we go through all this trouble? Because getting your resource allocation right isn't just a fun technical puzzle to solve. It's a massive business advantage.
This quote from the source material just hits the nail on the head. The stakes are incredibly high. If you under-provision, you get bottlenecks, you get a terrible user experience, and innovation slows down. If you over-provision, you're literally just throwing money away on hardware that's sitting idle. Strategic planning is how you walk that very fine line.
So what are the big takeaways here? First, planning that's driven by actual data is your best defense against waste. Second, using tiered strategies lets you perfectly match resources to what's actually needed. Third, having that clear 5-step process dramatically reduces your deployment risk. And all of this together leads to the ultimate goal, optimizing your total cost of ownership and getting the absolute most from your GPU investment.
And that leaves us with one final question to really think about. Is your current GPU strategy just reacting to the fires of today? Or are you proactively engineering a flexible, scalable, and cost-effective strategy that's ready for the challenges of tomorrow? Thanks for watching.